Hello, how's it going? Beautiful day to you all. Gonna ask Spirit what message there is for the collective of humanity today. Spirit, what message do you have for the collective today? The word that comes through today is communication. Communication is such a beautiful way of expressing ourselves through our throat chakra. This part of our bodies. Oftentimes, when we feel that there's something blocking us, or we have a cough, or that just means that it's blocked, it's congested, as there's something that we wish to express with our voice, our God-given voice, and we are unable to, or we feel ashamed to, or we're too worried about how others may think of what we say, and we might be judged. From my own experience, I have gone through this. And at times I was afraid to express my truth because I was afraid of how others would view me, or how others would, if others would accept the information that I was conveying to them, just like I am sharing in this video and through this channel. This for me took many years to overcome, and I'm remembered now of a experience where I had to, in English class, this was grade, I think 10 is what I'm hearing, and we had to read a book, and I read Frankenstein. Good book, by the way. And we had to come up with an alternate ending, and then we had to read it in front of the class. And I remember getting to that point and just sitting there in front of my classmates and feeling scared, feeling uneasy of how how they would view me reading, or how they would perceive it, or if they would accept it, or if they would judge me. And I read it anyways. And I remember some people having their own reactions towards what I was doing, and it hurt. It left an imprint, a trauma, that, let's say, negative experience. But nothing's negative. Everything is good. It was there to teach me something. And I learned that through this experience and many years of working through this and opening up my voice, opening up my communication center, and expressing myself fully and authentically. Sorry about the language. That people are always going to have their own view of how they perceive what another person is saying. And that is their own perception. It has nothing to do with us. If we come from a place from the heart, and we're honest and authentic about what we say, with no means of judgment, and we're not saying things to hurt others, but we're saying them to just express ourselves. Sometimes to set boundaries, what I'm hearing. We have to sometimes tell others that their behavior is not accepted by us. And sometimes it's difficult to do that, especially when it comes to family and friends and close relationships that we have. We're often afraid that if we express ourselves and set those boundaries, that those individuals may not accept it fully and will distance ourselves, or may dislike us, or whatever it might be that comes up. But if we don't do that, we're doing a service to ourselves, because then we're allowing others to harm us, to hurt us, and that in itself is an act, is a lack of self-love, self-respect. When we start to voice ourselves and state what we want and what we desire from others, then that is what I would like to say, and this is just my experience, one of the biggest and highest acts of self-love. When we set those boundaries and we're able to communicate clearly and fully what we wish to receive from one another. Also, I remembered of a conversation I had this morning with this beautiful lady that's a friend of my mom's. And she was stating that she had an issue with her son and that her son made her feel a certain way. And so I expressed to her and I let myself let that sink in, and I heard to tell her, were you able to communicate with him how he made you feel? And expressed to him from the heart, from a loving mother's perspective, of what you would wish, of how you wish to be treated and how you wish to be spoken to. And I could tell in her reaction and her energy that she was scared to do it because she was scared that she might lose that connection with her son. So I expressed this to her and I asked her permission if I could express what I was feeling, and she gave me permission. So I said, if you're scared to lose him, lose your bond between mother and son, imagine how you will feel if this happens again and again and again, and he keeps treating you this way. If you communicate to him how you feel and make sure that it comes from a place of the heart and not from a place of charged emotions of anger or resentment or feeling hurt or whatever the person might be feeling. If we just take a couple minutes to take a couple deep breaths, even I instructed to her or gave her some advice to put a hand on your heart, take a couple deep breaths and allow your heart to open and try to communicate from that space. And just be honest with the other person and say, hey, the way you approached me, the way you communicated with me hurt me. And I don't accept that. And I know that this can be difficult for people, especially for loved ones and family ones. I've had to do it with my family and I've had to set boundaries. But honestly, it will set you free. And the way that others react to what we are saying, if it comes from a place from the heart and authenticity, is not our fault. That's usually because of something that they are holding within, an experience they might have had that triggered something, and that is their journey. They are the ones that have to go through the process of figuring out why they are triggered by us being honest and authentic with them. There is also another thing that I'm hearing about what we term in spirituality energy vampires. This is a thing. People that will purposely trigger us so that we give them our attention. So energy flows where attention goes. Whatever we put our attention to, that's what we're giving energy to. And some individuals are so used to us giving them our energy over and over again in arguments or discussions or just presence or being a certain way, that when we set boundaries, we no longer give them that power, that intention. They feel disconnected, and that disconnection can sometimes trigger others to become a certain way towards us. And when I speak of energy vampires, narcissistic people, whatever you want to call them, they're so used to receiving that. And that's how they get energy from other people. Because in this world of duality that we're brought into the third dimension, there is an exchange of energy when we speak to another. So when we're speaking to one another, we're exchanging energy back and forth. So I'm speaking to another individual. While they're listening, they're giving me their attention, they're giving me their energy, and vice versa. This also happens in moments of arguments, and I want to coin something that I read a long time ago in a book called The Celestine Prophecy. In the dramas that we play out in this world. So there's the controllers, the manipulators, and then there's the victim mentality and the aloof, those ones that play it like they don't care, but it affects them. So when those individuals that are controlling and manipulative put us down and trigger us into being victims or aloof, we're giving them energy. It's transferring to them because where our attention is in how they made us feel and who they are, blah, 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 all that stuff. When we reverse the role, we stop that from happening. We set boundaries and they no longer can feed off us. So that goes back to the throat chakra and communicating. When we allow one person to put us down and trigger us repeatedly, we're feeding their energy, their paradigm. And when we set boundaries, they no longer can do that unless we allow them to. And that often results to them disconnecting from us. But that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's because we're learning the lesson that we need to learn in this moment, which is setting boundaries and speaking our truth. And that, for me, as I was explaining earlier, was a lesson that I took a long time to learn, but I'm glad I did. Because it set me free. And it also showed me who really was there in support and respect and love towards me, and not just feeding off of who I was and how I was benefiting them in their lives. Again, this can bring up a sense of abandonment and separation and grief, because there's a loss when we shift to this authentic and openness of communication. Those who no longer resonate with us will just flee away. And if they keep coming back, then that's usually a sign of kind of like the universe testing us. Will we accept this kind of behavior in our lives again, or will we keep putting up boundaries and protecting our own energy instead of giving it to individuals who are using it for their own good? Communication for me should always come from the heart. That is my own perception of this, and that's how I live my life, and that's how I wish we all would live our lives. And I believe that the humanity is shifting more into this an understanding of authenticity and speaking from the heart and speaking our truth. And communication and problems with the throat chakra is also related to the lies we tell ourselves. So things that we have repeated in our minds, lies that we've told ourselves about ourselves. Sometimes they get stuck here. Something that you can do to help yourself relieve or balance out this area of our bodies is, because it is the fifth chakra in the body, it is the color blue, and it governs our communication center, and it's based on truth or lies. Inability to speak and about how we're feeling and what is going on in our lives, emotionally, physically, mentally, and then the ability to openly speak our truth. We can simply put our hands here, like this, close our eyes, and imagine the color blue. If you see that the color is not bright and it's got some distortion in it, that usually means there are things stuck there. There's energetic imprints of probably moments when we were not able to speak our truth, or when others didn't allow us to speak our truth, when we lied to ourselves or when we lied to others. That's all here. So by positioning our hands here and imagining the color blue and taking some deep breaths, and we can also affirm, I now allow myself to speak my truth. I openly speak honestly. I express myself from the heart with my inner truth, and I do it authentically. So we can do those kind of affirmations to help clear this center. There is also a mudra. So a mudra is a hand position when you're meditating, which is basically we interlock our fingers, place our thumbs like this, and then place your hand here. This connects our meridians, our energy channels that come to the throat chakra, and it will help to balance out. Breath work is also very important for the throat chakra. There's many different kinds. You can look it up on the internet, YouTube. There's tons of people sharing this kind of information everywhere. And so, yep, that's it. There's nothing else coming through. And I hope that this has helped you in some way. Again, these are experiences I've had, and this is knowledge that I've gained and knowledge that I've received to communicate with the collective. And if this has helped you, drop a like. If there's anything you wish, if there are any topics or subjects, or anything you wish to ask, you can simply leave a comment. I will reply. And if there's any topics that you all would like me to touch upon, I will channel them for you. And if not, that's also okay. Everything's good and everything's aligned and everything is perfect. And also everything is divine. We are divine beings. We are limitless beings having a human experience. So go out there, shine your light, be bright, wear colorful clothes. Colorful clothes, colors make us happy. And don't be afraid of what others think of us. Honestly, that's just their reaction, their own opinions. Find peace within yourself. Be happy with who you are. Acceptance is key to being happy, internal happiness. And we are perfect the way we are. So go out there, shine your light, and much love to you all. Have a great and wonderful day.